start soon.
So in the context of the Exodus, we recounted to you the amazing things that took place in Egypt, where God called Moses at the burning bush in the area of Midian, where we were yesterday, and kind of in this whole region. And he called him from the burning bush. And Moses approached this bush that was burning, that wasn't being consumed. And God said, Moses, I want you to take the shoes from off thy feet, because where you're standing is holy ground. And God says, I have surely seen the affliction of my people after 400 plus years of them being enslaved in Egypt. And God calls Moses. Moses goes back to where he grew up, prepared in a very special way from the standpoint of his preservation at birth, miraculously, and brought up in the court of the Pharaohs. And then Moses leads the children of Israel through what we know today as the Sinai Peninsula, and crossed somewhere, we believe, in this area of the Gulf of Aqaba, what we know today as Gulf of Aqaba, historically Yam Suf, which is the Sea of the End, the Sea of the End. And it's a fascinating concept in terms of the wording Yam Suf, the Sea of the End. Some might speculate that the Sea of the End refers to the death of the Egyptians, where they came to their end. It also could have a reference to a border. So the area of a border crossing, where you're going from one region or area or nation into another. So it could be referring to that as well. It could be the end of a miraculous story of God's preservation and his deliverance of his people, where he showed his mighty arm of power. But this area and this area of the Red Sea, this fork of the Red Sea that moves further up towards what we know today as Eilat in Israel and Aqaba on the Red Sea, that area is known as Yam Suf. And so here we are on the eastern side of the Red Sea. And in the context, the children of Israel walked upon dry ground when God performed an amazing miracle, parting the seas for his people to cross. And it's Exodus 14, but the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Thus the Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. And Israel saw that great work which the Lord did upon the Egyptians, and the people feared the Lord and believed the Lord and his servant Moses. And then in chapter 15, it speaks of the song that they sang, the song of Moses and the children of Israel, unto the Lord, and spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. The Lord is my strength and song, and he has become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare him an habitation, my father's God, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his host hath he cast into the sea. His chosen captains also are drowned in the Red Sea. The depths have covered them. They sank into the bottom as a stone. You know, you hear about those who are scholars who do not believe in the scriptures. They are liberal scholars. They are looking for explanations to explain away the miraculous and sovereign hand of our great God. You cannot explain this away in a sea of reeds, in an area of marshland. It cannot be explained away. If you're going to take the Bible at face value, and we should, then there are numerous descriptions about the depths of the sea that the children of Israel crossed. And a wall of water, you don't have a wall of water in a marshland or a swamp. You don't have Egyptian military professional fighters of the day in chariots being swallowed up by the sea in its depths. And so here you have Israel miraculously preserved, the children of Israel, the Hebrews, as they came out of slavery, miraculously preserved by their God and delivered, and the Egyptians were less than toys in the hand of the Almighty Sovereign God. And the Israelites saw them strewn dead upon the seashore, not very far from here, maybe a little ways up the coast. But as we move on in the story and in the song that they sang, for the horse of Pharaoh went in with his chariots and with his horsemen into the sea, and the Lord brought again the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel went on dry land in the midst of the sea. And the text says, and they danced and they rejoiced with the timbrel. Miriam, the sister of Aaron, was dancing, and all the women with timbrels and dances. There was a time of great rejoicing. I mean, imagine if you were among that crowd and you saw the hand of God, you saw the wall of water, you thought that you were coming to your end and there was nothing that could save you. But the hand of your great God provided the pathway and defeated your enemies at the same time. An amazing situation. But when they crossed over now, after their rejoicing, something happened. Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur, S-H-U-R. And they went 3 days in the wilderness, on this side, we believe, of the crossing. They went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. And we just drove through an area of absolute beauty, but not any water. Quite amazing to think about that. And when they came to Marah, they could not drink of the waters of Marah. Why?
Bitter.
Because they were bitter. Therefore the name of it was called Marah. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, what shall we drink? And again, how many days after the crossing?
3.
3 days after the crossing, and look how quickly. And again, were we in that situation, we would be murmuring just as much after we just saw the hand of God deliver us. And he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree, which when he had cast it into the waters at Marah, the waters were made sweet. And there he made for them a statute and an ordinance, and there he proved them, and said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord, thy God, and wilt do that which is right in his sight, and wilt give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians. What a magnificent promise God was giving to his people. For I am the Lord that healeth thee. And they came to Elim, where we are most likely right now. E-L-I-M, where were 12 wells of water. And if you were to start in this location where we are, and you can see in these groves of trees, you would count as you make your way up the wadi, up the valley between these magnificent mountains, you would count exactly 12 wells.
Why 12?
12 wells
12
in
tribes.
connection to each tribe of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel.
Hallelujah.
So you didn't have to argue, you didn't have to fight, you didn't have to say, hey, where's mine? Right? My tribe gets its own well.
Yeah.
12 wells right along this area in Elim. There were 12 wells of water and 70 and 10 palms.
Wow, 70.
70 palms. And they encamped there by the waters. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation, after they were in this place. And the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the 2nd month after their departing out of the land of Egypt. So 2.5 months after they departed Egypt, most likely they were here in this valley at Elim with 12 wells connected to the 12 tribes of Israel and 70 palm trees. And from here, they would make their way towards the holy mountain of God, which we visited just a couple days ago, Mount Sinai, which we believe based on the evidence that we've seen thus far, may very well be here in Arabia.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.